Hey guys, it's Miss Krystal. Let's talk about books. But before we talk about books, though, I do want to mention a couple things before we get started. You know how I am with my announcements. So all of the programming for adult and youth services is up and running for March, April, May. So make sure you check out some of the new spring programming and sign up. Let us know if there's something missing that you would like to see. But I do want to highlight two upcoming programs that are pretty big. So on April 4th is the after hours program for youth services, and that is going to be the mobile game show. So we hired a company that does like game show themed games as like a party. And basically all you do is you sign up, you come, we put you into teams, and then you guys play these games and you eat pizza and drink pop and stuff like that. And it should be like a really good time. So the games are gonna just be like, think like Family Feud, think like Jeopardy, like, yeah. And it should be really fun, but we do need you to like actually sign up. Like you can't just show up because we do need to know like a head count, okay? The next thing is the very next day, and this is not a program that you have to sign up for, is the Youth Spring Makers Market. So I'm running a Makers Market this year. It's my first year running it. I have had so many kids who have sent me applications and will be tabling for this market. Now the next process of that is that I need you in the community to come and support them and just like come and buy one of their little goods or buy nothing and just come and like look at them because I think that they're gonna work so hard on all their stuff, and I just want to make sure that people actually come and like participate in it. And yeah, it just means a lot to them, so please. Also, if you know a kid who would like to participate and wants to table and has been sort of deterred by the application deadline being over, tell them to try. Please email me, call, fill out an application because the link should still be up. Yeah, anything. And I will get back to you as soon as possible about like if I have space or not. I probably do have space, so don't be deterred. Yeah, I think that's it. And I'm gonna move on to these books. So I have some really fun ones. Every year in February, I only read books that are by Black authors and that feature Black main characters. So, and that's just something that I've been doing in February for the last couple years, just like personally. And people are always asking me like, so then what did you read? So yeah, so these are my youth reads for last month for Black History Month. And then if you want to know more about like the adult ones that I read, then I don't know, hit me up, find me, whatever. So I'm going to start with my juvenile books, and then I'm probably going to move on to my Y books. Okay. So bear with me. There's a lot going on. Okay. So The Shape of Lost Things. This one, this is like pretty short. It was really good. It is about Sky and her brother, Finn. So Finn was basically kidnapped by their biological father 4 years ago. And it left Sky and her mother like in the lurch, you know? And so her mom has been like mourning this loss for the last 4 years. Every birthday, she crashes out, and like Sky is kind of left to pick up the pieces and feels like she's trying to like fill in for Finn, you know? But this year's different because on Finn's birthday, they get a call that they've actually found Finn. And so he re-enters their lives, he re-enters their home, but he's a changed kid. Like something has definitely happened to him. I'm not gonna give it away. Something has definitely happened to him, and he's different. He's more paranoid. He's making all these weird calls and stuff. And so like Sky is trying to figure out what is happening, and also like, is it just maybe he's just a teenager and he's changed and I just don't remember him correctly, or like has he really changed? Like has something going on? So yeah, I'd say give it a shot if you like that kind of thing. Next thing, Dear Dad. So this is a graphic memoir. The pictures are super cute. I didn't realize this was a memoir until I was like done reading it. It is very short, like, you know, short. You're gonna fly through this. But it does like pack a punch. So don't be deterred by how short it is. It's a lot of story. So Dear Dad is about JJ. She communicates with her dad, who is on again, off again, incarcerated throughout her childhood. And she's basically just talking about like how communication is always kind of choppy, because sometimes the letters don't get to where they are. Sometimes you don't know. Sometimes they, like, if you have loved ones who are incarcerated, they can be moved to other prisons, other jails, and you like don't realize it, and then you're writing to the wrong place. Sometimes they don't get your letters because of like, I don't know, like a human error. Sometimes they're not able to write you back because of like commissary issues, like behavioral issues. So JJ is taking on the perspective that like you should always be able to communicate with your parents, and that shouldn't be used as some sort of like reward system. And I think that that's amazing to say. And then also she developed an app called Photo Patch, which makes it easier for parents to communicate with children who are incarcerated. So yeah, I think that's a good message. And I feel like people never think about families of incarcerated individuals. So I don't know, it's a good perspective if you want to dive into that issue. So next thing, Kwame crashes the underworld. This one is very like Tristan Strong coded, very like Roswell Johnson coded, where it's like an adventure series featuring a young black boy who's like on a mission. So Kwame is Ghanaian, he's 12, and his grandmother just passed away, and so he's going back to Ghana to her celebration of life. But when he gets there, he's kind of like transported to this netherworld where there's like Ghanaian goddesses and gods, and he has to go on this adventure. And yeah, I don't know, like who doesn't love a good adventure? And learning more about like African culture is always fun. So next thing, so this is my young adult books, okay? So I'm gonna start with the graphic novels. Up All Night. So Static Shock is the main character of this one. If you don't know who Static Shock is, like you've been living under a rock, girl. That is a DC staple. And DC makes some really good like made for teen graphic novels. The artwork is always solid. The storyline is always fun. And so Up All Night is about Static, whose real name is Virgil, and he tells his girlfriend Daisy about him being a superhero. And you would think that like if someone told you that they're a superhero, they would be like, oh yeah, like now I empathize completely with your situation. Like now I see like why we have to cancel dates all the time and stuff. But Daisy is like, no, like she's like, I'm over it. Like, okay, fine, live your truth, but I'm over it. I want a regular person, and I want someone who can focus on me and isn't focused on saving the world. So I think that's really real of her. And so they break up because of it. And Virgil is obviously like down in the dumps, and he has these tickets to this music festival that he was gonna take Daisy to. Instead, he goes with his best friend who's trying to cheer him up from this breakup. And he meets up with these other like secret identity girls, and they have a night of crazy rip-roaring fun. But he also comes to terms with his relationship and possibly the need to work on his personal relationships in general. So I don't know. I think that's a fun thing to talk about. And like superheroes, who doesn't love them? Okay. Ghost Rose. So this is so like Ghostbusters coded. You've got Chelsea and her dad. Her dad is a clairvoyant, like what is it? So he's a Ghostbuster. Like he like goes and tries to get ghosts out of haunted places. And Chelsea gets in trouble, and so her punishment is that she has to work with her dad, which is how she discovers that she can actually see ghosts, which was not known before. Like I was like, girl, would have been helpful probably ages ago, but whatever. Now she knows, and she goes to help her dad in this haunted house, and she is face to face with this spirit named Oliver, who she ends up being like fast friends with, basically. And so now she's trying to like kind of sabotage her dad, because she's like, you're trying to ruin my ghost life. Like, I don't know. I think that's a funny way to look at it. But Ghost Roast, it's kind of fun, and the artwork is obviously super cute. So go for it. Okay. Next thing, Big Jim and the White Boy. So this is a heavy hitter. I remember getting this email to me, and I just wasn't able to make it work for the time that I had it on my iPad. So I just waited till it came out, and it is kind of a whopper. I think it's on Comics Plus too. So if you don't want to carry around this big book, then that might be better for you. But it is basically a companion. I think of it as a companion piece to Huckleberry Finn. So Huckleberry Finn is told through this perspective of, Finn and him like traveling through the South with Jim. But it has been criticized for caricatures of Black people and making Jim into this like, idiot, but like, and because he's a Black man, and kind of infantilizing him. But like, Jim is a person, and he's a man, and he has a family, and he has an ancestry. And so that's what this book is told from Jim's perspective. And so that's Finn, and he's definitely mentioned throughout, but it's mostly focused on on Jim and his family and the generations after his family, after he's gone. And yeah, I don't know. It's tough to explain, but I thought it was good. It's definitely good if you want to explore more of the Huck Finn universe, and I would advise that you do have to read Huckleberry Finn to kind of understand it. Next thing, 24 seconds from now. Yeah, this is Jason Reynolds. I heard this is Jason Reynolds' first love story. It's like, tell me if I'm wrong. I don't know. I mean, I've read some of his stuff, but whatever. So this is kind of like, it's definitely experimental in the sense of like time shifting, but it's basically just about Neon and Arya and their relationship and their first time like engaging in, intercourse. And I think it's like such an ethical and heartfelt and intentional way to go about talking about that. And I think that you need books like this, because where else are you gonna find like honest stories about that for teenagers? So it's mostly just about relationships though. And I think it really feels like Forever by Judy Blume. Have you ever read that one? I don't know. Am I remembering the story? It came out a long time ago, but it feels a lot like that. So I don't know if this is like a complete retelling of that, but yeah. Okay, next thing. Immortal Dark. So this one, I'm probably like halfway through. This is my last one that I've got to get through. And it is interesting. So it's all Black. I'm gonna say everybody's Black. And it's about vampires. And it's very like Vampire Academy coded. And the main character is Kaiden. I want to say Kaiden. That's the way I'm saying it in my head, is that. And she is tied to a vampire. And in this world, the vampires can only feed on certain people, like can only feed on certain families. And those families have a lot of power in the vampire world and like a lot of influence and money for some reason. And you have to go through this like arduous process at this school for vampire descendant children, basically. And you like go to the school and you learn how to be a better like companion to vampires, I guess. This is so hard. This is so hard to explain, y'all. This is really hard to explain. But it's like, it feels very dark romantic-y vibes. And I'm kind of here for it. I don't know how I feel about it yet. If anybody wants to read this with me and tell me how they feel about it, like, that'd be great. But I don't know. Maybe I'll bring it back when I'm done and tell you guys how I felt about it later. Whatever. Anyways, that's it for me. Hopefully you saw something that you thought was intriguing and that you liked. If you didn't, then, I'll be back. Hope everyone's having a good Women's History Month, and see you soon. Bye.